Alright guys, welcome back from part 2. So this is S from SNA's Orgonite Creations, and this is part 2 of the old school knife sharpening. Alright, I don't know what I'm going to call it, the title, but yeah. So this is what I use to actually sharpen it. I normally use a Lansky kit, because it's got a guided rod system, meaning that you can maintain the same edge. Now, but this one here is called a catco, okay? So, you know, sharpen your world, yeah, so it says. But I much prefer the Lanskys, and I'm just going to say it off the bat, if you guys are ever going to get one of these, get a diamond one, okay? So the reason being is these here are the stones that you use to sharpen your knives, alright? Over time, can you see that there's not straight? Yeah, you wear your stones down, yeah? So that there actually changes your angles, alright, which affects it. Now when you got a diamond version, it's actually like a metal stone, so it's solid. It doesn't wear like this, and it's got a diamond coating on it, okay? And that diamond coating it stays flat, it stays true, okay? That's what you want. So if you're ever going to get one of these, a Lansky, even if it's just a normal stone that you use by hand, you can get diamond stones that stay flat, they're dead flat, much more beneficial. But these here, to me, are just easy. You don't have to really think about it. It's not true, like, you know, the angles that are on there. It's just a guide. So if you know what angle you use and it works for you, just select that angle. You see it's on here. See, 17, 20, 25, 30 degrees. We're going to use 30 degrees, but you know, if your knife's a lot bigger and thicker, and the blade sticks out further than what this one does, it's going to lower the angle. If you've got your knife in further, so it's close to, see where the actual, this here, the edge is closer to that, it's going to change the angle and make it higher. So it depends where you're going to stick it. You need to know where you're going to leave it and what you're going to do, okay? But this is the setup I'm going to be using, so I'm going to start with the rough one. And I'm not going to film me doing it, but give you the general idea. So with this particular system, bear with me for a sec, these rods here, they pull out, okay? Can you see that there's a lot longer now? So they pull out, and all you got to do, it's self-explanatory really. Put a bit of oil on it. This here has your angle on it, and you slide it. You know, I treat it I can't show you, treat it like a file. I always go up, so from there I push up and then back and then up and then back. So every time I'm going up, it's up against the blade, sharpening it like a file. I mean, you can leave it on there and go up and down, but I go up, off, up, if you know what I mean, okay? Tell you how to do it here. I don't know if that's going to tell you what I just said, but just after years and years of using a system similar to this, I find that there is the ultimate, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and hit it with that, and I'll show you the edge, the start of it, and show you what we're dealing with. Alright guys, now can you see the edge that I'm putting on there? So that shiny surface there at the tip, that's the edge we're putting on it, okay? So I've done 10 passes with this. Now you can sort of see right here there's a dip, and it's darker area there. If it's going to focus, move, come on. Yeah, you can see right there sort of what it's darker in that dip. So that there's not shiny bit, meaning that we haven't hit that metal, okay? So when you hit it, it's going to be shiny like that. So that part there, I'm probably not going to be able to get, all right? Unless I do a lot more work to it, like grind it properly, thin it down, I'm not going to get that area, most likely not. But you can see it is wibbly wonky. So right in the middle there's a dark area, there's a dark area, dark area, dark area, dark area, dark area. So it is all over the place. You can see, you know, the condition of the knife. It's got many grinds. It's been beaten around. Yeah, but this is looking promising. It's actually going to be much better than the other one. And now I'm going to go ahead and hit this one, this edge here, and we'll see what it's like, okay? Alright guys, so we're finished with the coarse stone, which is the black one, or that's extra coarse, then it's medium, then it's fine. Now in the shed I've actually got a polished stone that goes with this here, and I might actually go get it. I didn't do it with the other knife, but I might do it with this knife, and then I'll show you the difference between that as well, okay? So finished with this one, we're on this one here. So it should say, which way is it, this way? Coarse. So we'll do that one there. Now, how do you know whether you move on from a stone? Okay, so don't think that you can use like an extra coarse or a coarse and your knife's going to be razor. It doesn't work like that. It's going to be quite rough and quite burry, even if you get it right down to the edge and it's schmick. Like that there, I can feel I've got that because it's rough, but it's not going to really cut me. It will if you put enough pressure, of course it will, but the reason when you do it and you know you've got it to the edge, so you're looking for the burr. So I did 10 passes, like, you know, because when it's this way here, all right, I got the stone, my finger's the stone, I go up, off, up, off. So I do that right down the tip. 1, 2, 3, you know, I did 10 passes and I did 5 on each side, then I did 4, 3, 2, 1 on each side, okay. Now, but when you're doing the 10, and then before you go onto the other side, you look for a burr, all right. So if I did this side here, the metal is going to fold over this side here, and you can feel a burr. So if you do that, 10 and then do 10, and you can feel the burr, you've technically got it down to the edge, okay? So if you don't, you need to pretty much keep going until you can somewhat feel that, and it might take you practice to know and understand. Another way is, now my partner hates this, but across my nail, there's score marks, because if you get your nail and you sort of slide it across just gently, don't push hard, like you don't want to cut through your nail, but you can feel it's really rough. And normally if a knife's blunt, it's very smooth and it won't even grip onto your nail, okay? So it won't grab, see how it's grabbing? It'll just sort of, and you'll hear it differently. Now, if you don't know any of this, there's other ways to do it. This is how I do it. It's not the smartest way to do it. I don't know if you can sort of see the score marks. But it's just, I know when to move on to the stone, and I've actually got the edge down to where it needs to be. Because if you haven't quite got it there, you know, it's like this, if you can understand, there's no point in moving down in stones, because you go down to the fine one, and if you haven't got the edge down packed, you haven't got that burr where you're sharpening one side and then it burrs over the other side, you sharpen the other side and it burrs over the other side, and eventually that edge will snap off and you'll have a nice smooth razor sharp finish. Okay, if you haven't got that, it's a waste of time moving down stones, but I just wanted to say that because that's part of the whole process. Okay, so I'll move on to the stone and we'll keep going, and then I'll show you the end result. Okay, so we're finished with those stones, but what I'm going to do, geez, if it bloody focuses properly, will it focus that close? Oh yeah. So you can see the nice shine there. You can see it's out of whack, like how it's been grinded. But there's certain areas like I did not get, like cannot get there down to the edge. You can see it's sort of somewhat dipped. You know, I'd like to grind this myself and then redo it, but you know, this is just like for kitchen knives or whatever for the next door neighbour. So, but this here is going to be good. It's going to be a big improvement. Now, what I'm going to do is get a polished stone, and it's actually going to polish it. All right, and it'll come up really much more better. Okay. Wow, this camera is shocking. It's like I got to keep tapping it to focus. Yeah, you can really see that section there. There's no way I can get that without grinding it back, thinning the blade out, and then re-putting this edge back on there. Okay, but I'll just grab the polish. I'll show you that just for shits and giggles, because I know it's out in the shed, and I'll be back in 2 seconds. So you can see what this is. So it's actually ceramic. All right, super smooth. All right, you can feel it does have some sort of texture to it, but it's very smooth. So hit it with that, and it'll come up shining like a mirror. Now, guys, I do hope this is in shot. I don't know if it is, so you can't see my head or whatever, or you can't see exactly what's going on. I hope you can understand. But I'm going to come down there in a bit. So this here knife is complete. All right, so I'm going to show you how I steel it and tell you why. Now, because this isn't exactly what I would have done, I would have grinded it back, like I said, put a proper edge on it, and it would have come up really fucking good. But it's really rough. Like, I can do this confidently, and it's not going to cut me, as you can see, right? But I know what I'm going to do now is steel it ever so slightly higher than the 30 degrees. I just know where that is. So if you see what I'm doing now, like I said, I hope it's in shot. Now, you're going to see me rotate this here around as well. Reason being is this here is a smoother side than that. It's still got all the lines and all the rest of it, but I don't know if you can tell, but this here is somewhat shinier than that side's duller. All right, so I've done that for different reasons, because I used to steel my knives on one side like this, okay? So when I wanted a rougher side, I'd change it, okay? So, but what I'm going to do is steel it lower than what I just did there. And you're going to see me rotate it, okay? So it's doing two sides, like it'll be rough one side. What I'm aiming for is that little bit of a burr, like I tried to describe when I did the lansky or the catco system there. How you use rough, and the reason you know is because when you're sharpening it and it burrs over, that means you've got to the edge properly. I haven't done that with this all the way, like I said, because the blade's all weird. There's bits that I've got and bits that I've missed. So by sealing it a little bit higher as well, and rotating this around is kind of what I'm trying to do. Is burr that over and seal it higher so it cuts it over, okay? And then I'm actually going to seal it higher with a different steel, and then we're going to test it, right? So this is one way how I would steel a knife. If you're new to this, or you just clicked on this video and you don't know nothing about knives, because this is a part 2, you can go ahead and click the part 1 video and see where how we got here. But yeah, you can take your steel and simply do this. Just hold it in this hand and try to get the angles right, okay, and repeat and lock them in. Right. One way you can tell in sheet, you see most steels have a mark or some sort of writing. When you're doing it this way, you can get roughly where you want, right? And you can see where the blade is to what letter, all right? So say it's I or N, right? So if you know what I mean, so you put it there, bang up against there, and that there is up to the I. Now when I do that, you hold it straight through. You don't curve your blade or anything. You hold it, lock it, and hold it, all right? So you do that, and then you come under, do the same thing, and I can see underneath that it's hitting exactly the same edge. Like this part of the blade is locking up against the same part of that letter underneath. All right, so that's how you know you're doing the same angles, okay? You don't have to do it fast, you can do it slow. Say if you wanted a higher or light angle, you just hold it low and say, or higher, and then you try to match it up with that letter, okay? Like that, all right? Now I'll do it only a couple more passes, and then we'll get into it. And sorry if I'm boring you, but I mean, if you want to do this right, there's many different ways to do this. This is mine, and it can get quite technical, especially when it's your job. Your knives are your job for years and years. Now, all right, I can feel that's good. Okay, what we're going to do now, because that's quite rough. What I'm going to do, sometimes if you're just using a rough steel and I'm doing that, it's lower but slightly higher than what we sharpened it as. Piece of plastic, like, doesn't matter what it is, piece of plastic. You can do this here and it will actually get all those little burrs off. And you'll even be left with a nice score mark and probably some black, okay? Indicating it's got rid of some little tiny burrs off there. Pitted steel, okay? Now this here is how I would steel it. I can continue and do what I'm doing. Right, and that'll come up probably the sharpest is what you'd want. Well, it'll be sharper than what I'm about to do. Alright, let me just test that. It's not what I'm going to go for, but let's just see. Alright, so you should cut this really good. Yeah, it's not too bad. But what I'm going to do now is steel it higher. Now I like to, this is how I did it for years on the boning chain when I was boning beef. So sometimes this here is good because you can actually, when it's like this, I hope this is in shot, you can actually see your angles, okay? So when it's like that, when you're doing over and under, it's really hard to tell what angle it is, okay? It's really hard to tell. Some people steel like this so you can see it straight down. They steel like that. People like this, but I don't like that because it seems like you go all over the place. It's really hard, that control of holding that angle, and you see people like start here and end up going like that and they rotate it around, or vice versa, they might go high and then to low because of that stroke. you need something consistent. So this here is just straight. You need to hold, whatever angle you choose, you need to follow it and go straight through with it. Okay? Now steeling a little bit high gives you the guarantee that you've hit the edge and you're steeling off those little burrs and realigning that edge that you just put on. Gives you that guarantee. Okay? You do it lightly, don't push hard. Alright, don't push hard because you create more of that burr and because you're just trying to straighten them out. Alright? And it being higher, steeled like this, would give it some more durability. Alright? So, go ahead and try that, I'll just give it a feel. To be fair, it should be better. But you can't really, there's areas on this knife that are just higgledy-piggledy, but you can't, if you had this in the kitchen, like it's just a random sort of knife, it'll be fine, it's fine. If I was boning beef back on the chain, I would sort this blade out and thin it out and make sure I hit every spot, okay, and got a proper edge on the whole piece, alright, and then it would be really good, alright. So it is good. Which one's better? So this is the other one, the old slicing knife, which has got a decent edge in it. I spent more time on this one, so it might, yeah, it definitely feels better. Yeah, this one's better, that's for sure. Yeah, this is good. I might spend a bit more time steeling that, but then, so I was going to show you how to make the sheath, and it's very simple, but this is the one that I did already. It's only because he gave them to me just like this. Now I know that really sharp and can cause some damage if you're not careful. It will cut straight through your arteries, through tendons. There could be a bloody mess everywhere. But all it is cardboard and folded over and then folded over again. So, and it's just going to live in there. So you can go in the drawer or whatever and be safe, okay? You can dive your hand in the drawer, you're not going to cut yourself. You know, use it, wash it, put it straight back in. It's just a little handy thing. It doesn't look very appealing, but it does not matter as long as it works. As I showed you, I think in the previous one, with the typical slicing knives we use today, well, one of the ones I used to use, it comes with a sheath from factory, so it's always good to keep in the kitchen like this. This is my kitchen one. But yeah, that's it, guys. But what we can go ahead and do as well is I am going to steel this one more to get it a bit better. But polish, alright, polish steel. This thing here, if you've got a good knife, you put it on a polish. Whew, it's very good. Now I know this is a waste of time, me steeling it like this on the lower angle to what I just did with the pivot, but I'm just showing you, like, it's very smooth, okay? I mean, you have to feel it, you have to know, you have to do this job for a while to know what you're really feeling or talking about. But yeah, I'll get that better with a rougher steel. I mean, the rough one there, but had some Orgonites there that I need to polish up, holding the phone up. Alright, bit of a mess in the kitchen now that I've cut all that stuff up. But yeah, guys, so this is the piece, cardboard, cocomelon. Anyway, so yeah, all you do is fold it once, fold it twice, tape it up, you got a sheath, done. Alright, that is it, guys. Stay tuned for more videos. Thanks for watching. If you're still here and you followed it through all the way for part 1, part 2, thank you very much. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want any of our Orgonite pieces for your protection, for your home, shielding against EMF, better night's sleep, you know, they do a lot of stuff. Personal protection pendants. This is our power pendant. In there's a terminated piece of clear quartz wrapped in copper wire. All the goodies, Orgonite matrix with shungite, your crushed crystal powders. There's a 24 karat gold leaf in there, which adds a healing aspect. There's gold leaf in this one. Black tourmaline. This camera is no good for focusing. Sorry about that. Oh, it's off autofocus, I think. Now I figure it out. Alright, guys, that is it though, okay? You can stay tuned for more videos. I'm going to give these knives back to David next door, and yeah, you can finally use them. Alright, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to click the link, like, subscribe. See See you next time.